Ladies and gentlemen, the man who thinks he knows the most as the host and doesn't, Michael Bean. And of course, the guy that tries to make you laugh, the co-host, Damien Hankatel.
Well, okay. Welcome to our new show, Danvers. My name is Michael Bean.
Hello, Danvers. I'm Damien Ancatel.
So our show's called You Can't Have It Both Ways, and we were looking to have poke a little fun at all the crazy that goes on today. But first I wanted to start off because you may not know that our co-host Damien was a recent recipient of the Hair Club for Men Patient of the Month. I just thought we should say that.
Now that I'm not shaving my head this week.
Well, anyway, we're hoping to, our intention is to make you smile, maybe laugh, jab at the real but serious way of the world, the way our federal, state, and local governments are doing what they do to us, and it is to us because they are spending our money like crazy, messing with our kids, and they think it's okay. We don't. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to say anything. You don't want to get singled out, but we're going to say it because enough's enough. And there's a lot of people that are coming out, and they want to be part of a larger group that's pushing, clean way to live, healthy way to live, not all this stuff that's going on. So our opinions here are our opinions only. So we're expressing only what we know or think. Don't believe anything we say. Do your own research.
If you don't believe us, just ask us.
We're just going to keep sticking to our story. So the producer, Jack, obviously you can see we gave him a little leeway to poke fun at us, to keep this thing a little bit light. But he's like 20-something. He rolls his eyes at us. So we'll see what he says and does to us. I think I want to talk to his parents about spanking him again. I think he deserves it.
I can hear you.
I want to give a quick tip of the day. This is a health-related tip, and because everybody's getting sick, and if the flu hasn't circled around to your house again and again and again like it has for everybody else, then I don't know what you're doing, but you must be doing it right. So, but if everyone is getting sick and you guys are catching the cold and the flu in your house, this little thing might be able to help you. So, fill a mason jar or any kind of a jar. You need to fill it with, before you fill it, I'm sorry, this is exactly how my wife said to say it. You need to put organic, bulbs, peeled bulbs of, I'm sorry, not organic. What the hell am I reading here? Look at that, I screwed it up already. It's raw, unfiltered honey, and you need to have organic garlic bulbs.
Say that again.
Or trying to make you healthy, somebody healthy. But if you put the organic bulbs in first, then put the honey in it, let it sit for like a week, and then take like a tablespoon every morning on an empty stomach, and you know that it's ready to use it once you get bubbles at the top. And it's just a natural way to help build your immune system. So not going to hurt you. It's going to help you.
Sounds like you might get drunk off of it too.
Well, I don't know what you put in yours, but And another thing about this honey thing, make sure it's your honey, not somebody else's honey. We don't want to get on that road. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I got a quick quiz for Damien. Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
I think you might know the answer. Why was it okay for the National Guard, when they were used to remove the illegals that landed in Martha's Vineyard, but not okay to have the National Guard remove the illegals at the Texas border? That's the crisis that's going on now.
I don't know. I would have to say it might be because of where they landed. Are they landing in an elite neighborhood, or are they landing in a non-elite area?
What do you mean by
Eagle
that?
Pass?
Yeah, Eagle Pass.
Eagle Pass.
Where everybody goes to work and has to work.
Yeah.
They actually have to work a whole day. Yeah.
Blue collar, hardworking people down there, and they have to deal with 10,000 people. Not anymore. Governor Abbott, congratulations. Great job on getting that border sealed up in his area in El Paso.
Yeah, he's fighting back. He's fighting back. And then 25 of the states said they'd back him up.
Yeah, 8 states right now sent their National Guard down there to help them out right now. And there's states that are providing the materials. I know Chrissy Gnomes in South Dakota, she just sent down 4 tractor trailers full of barbed wire.
Really?
Yeah, so that, Wyoming's needs barbed wire, so they're going to send down their barbed wire and make sure that they can seal up that border nice and tight. It was, I was watching a thing over the weekend, and the lieutenant governor was at Eagle Pass. I forget the name of the park that it is, but he's like, oh yeah, he goes, last week I was here, there were 10,000 people crossed over. He goes, as of yesterday at 4 o'clock, there was 0, and there were kids playing in the park again.
Wow.
So, kids playing in a park. God forbid, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know what the funny thing about is Eagle Pass?
Yeah.
You're going to laugh at this. I was watching a guy doing an interview there. He goes, yeah, he goes, they're sealing up this border here. He goes, but they have 10,000 people crossing into the United States here. He said, if you go 250 yards that way, you can cross in a legal passing. There's a legal border entry 250 yards down. They don't want to come in legally.
No.
They want to come in illegally.
Right.
Because they don't have any criteria for that.
Right, exactly. But you will get a $2,000 Visa card once you get in.
And a nice iPhone.
iPhone, iPad, something like that.
Yeah, an iPhone.
Free healthcare. Not really free, because,
Well,
all of our taxes just keep going up. So that's the free. That's their free, not our free. All right. Well, thank you for answering that question. I just heard that 22 million is the actual count of people that have come over the border illegally in the past 3 years.
Wow.
22 million. I don't even know how many states on the East Coast that is, but that is a number of states put together.
I didn't know it was that high.
Yeah, that is a lot of fighting age men.
Sure is.
And they do say that most of the people coming over are single men, fighting age, good shape. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Get your pistol license. Learn some karate. You might need it next time you get out and get a gallon of milk. For the half an inch of snow when they cancel these schools.
Was school canceled today?
No, Danvers did not.
Good.
But there was a lot of 2-hour delays for the 1 inch of snow we got. So I don't know. Not sure. I don't know. We trudged through a foot of snow uphill.
Both ways?
You remember.
I did.
I didn't like it then.
Hey, I broke my back. I was on crutches. My mother said, get out. I had to trench through snow on crutches with a broken back.
In
Football
July?
injury.
In July?
No, it wasn't. It was 105 out. Snow, 3 feet of snow. No, it wasn't that bad. My mother's like, I'm not driving you to school. I had to go to school on crutches, dragging my feet. Couldn't even lift my legs.
All right, I got a question for you. Another question. A couple of things. If you're interested in getting involved in anything in town, we do need poll workers. We need Republican poll workers, and it's a pretty easy job. You get paid. You're there a whole day, but you're part of the system, and you're just there to make sure things are going okay. You're not going to be, it's no heavy lifting. You won't be out in the cold rain or the hot sun, and you're helping to keep things in check, and we need that. There's a lot of areas that are unfilled and around town. We need, I think we have spots on the school committee coming up, select board coming up this year, library committee. So there's a lot of things you can do to get involved, but get involved because that's how the town works better.
State rep, state senator,
Yep,
representative.
those will be coming next year, right?
Congressional rep. No, this year.
State rep is this year? I thought it was next year.
I'm pretty sure it's this year.
We do have, there's a bunch going on there, and it's a good thing. Get involved. Get involved. All right. That's how this works. Everybody get involved. Do a little bit. All right. Question. My question. All right. So that little leads me into this. Okay. If you've ever had to go through, and I'm sure you have, any kind of a committee in whatever city, town, doesn't matter, and you're looking for assistance from that city or town, and you might have to go through one of the committees or boards, like for maybe you want to put a shed up, you get permission to put it up at your lot line, so you're going to go in front of the zoning board, or maybe you have to. Maybe you just want to be, at the town meeting or a select board meeting, and you want to ask a question. Sometimes there's a feeling, and I'm not just picking on, I'm not just talking about Danvers. I've been to meetings around at the North Shore, and although many people that are on the boards or committees are good, and they know what they're doing, and they're decent to treat you, sometimes you run into people that are, they make it difficult. They kind of look down at you. They have an attitude. They have the us against them attitude, and that's a little difficult because the people that are standing there usually aren't public speakers, and so it's intimidating to stand there, right? And people get nervous, they'll forget, and so the people that are doing this, they're townspeople doing these boards, right? I mean, you live in the town with everybody, so be nice to your neighbors, Don't be a bully. Be nice. You should know your job. You signed up for it. Just, it's kind of,
I'll play devil's advocate here a little
Okay.
bit. Just a little bit.
Okay, Jerry.
You got to remember.
Yeah.
You got to remember that town selectmen and city councilmen, usually when they have conversations with people coming to the town meetings or the city meetings, they're usually not there to say, you guys are doing a great job, we really appreciate it. Everybody there is there to complain. It's not that, they're there to complain, they are. So it is kind of a them against me or them against us. Not that it makes them right to treat people poorly, but
Right.
there's animosity towards you. But it's a thankless job.
I agree on that. I think when you do public service, you're right there. Thankless job. It's difficult. People don't understand, what you're a part of this is to do. If you're on the zoning board, you're trying to make sure people aren't building 4-story, buildings or some crazy thing in neighborhoods that really shouldn't be set up that way.
Yeah.
Common sense stuff, right? And so that makes sense, right? I'm just talking very general.
It does make sense.
I'm a sensible guy.
We're trying to have some common sense here, but it seems to be slipping out the door. So yeah, as far as people that go to these public meetings, the public, you got to be polite, be professional, try to know what you're talking about the best you can. You're not going to know all the ins and outs. It's just impossible. There's too much going on, and everybody's got a really busy life, and things are going on. It's hard. And the people that are on the boards, just remember that people are trying to get some information. Maybe they have to get permission for whatever. And so, do your best to make it work and, be polite, right? Let's see. I guess you beat me up on that, so no, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Just take my ball and go home.
Why are you so angry at the city councilman, Michael? You should run for office or something.
You know what? I'm going to do it. All right. Yeah, so I kind of was going on and on, but then you just deflated me here. Okay? I knew you were going to do that too.
I am a cog destroyer.
Another deflate gate.
Okay, so here's a thing. On that topic, okay, if the people on the boards and committees are acting in good faith, and if they have a decent knowledge of what they're there to do, right, then they should be able to work with the public, and everybody should be okay with communicating back and forth. I don't think you should be, but however, the public can be difficult, so if they're firing at you, yeah, we get that, all right? If, again, if you're being honest, transparent, should be able to help all people, should be easier and more fluid, so that was it for that. I guess we finished that off.
Do you need your glasses?
No, well, yeah, no, yes, no, I'm not going to use them right now. All right, listen, I want to have a quick discussion on DEI. Okay, so tell me what you think of DEI. What's your opinion on this DEI? It's everywhere now.
Diversity, equity, inclusion.
That's the one.
I think DEI is DIE. I think it's on its way out. I think that people are starting to realize DEI is a warped sense of justice. That's not really justice. It's actually a lie that they tell people. So they want people to have equal, and this is going back, like, this is my history and my historic, my history, knowledge, and experience, and all everything that I read. So DEI is basically, they want equal outcomes based on nothing. So they want everybody to be equal. You should get it. You should get this. These people should have that. So they want to make things rather than merit-based. They want to make them equity-based. And to have equity, there's nothing equal about equity. Equity is probably the most unequal thing. But back in the early, and I think I said this on another show a few months back, that, back in the 20s, early 1900s, the communists wanted to do class against class, the bourgeoisie against the aristocrats, against the working class people. Lenin came into, was sent from Germany over into Russia and started, communism spread throughout Russia. Very effective. It was class against class. Well, they went in, they said, they went to Ukraine and said, you guys got land. Little farmers, 1 acre, 2 acre land, not huge farms like we have today. And they went in there and they said, you guys got too much. We need to split this out and equity it. And so they killed all the farmers. Over 100 million people, or 45 million people got killed just because they killed all the farmers at first. They took the farmers' land. They said, you guys can't have this land. You guys can't have ownership of property because you have something that other people don't. Well, they tried to create that through the 60s, 50s, and 60s into the United States through class warfare, class against class. But the American dream, people had mobility, economic mobility, and they couldn't do a class against class because if you put your head down, were smart, disciplined, worked hard, nose to the grindstone, you could become something. You could be from the poorest family and go to Harvard. You could be from the poorest family and become a millionaire. In this country, there was over 2,800 freed slaves who became millionaires in this country. So the American dream is universal for anybody. Right. So what they did, there was a new neo-communist development over the 70s in France. They came out with, forget about the class. Let's do it with race and identity politics. Homosexuality, it was back then, it was homosexuality and heterosexual. And then they split it into black, white, your race, and then they started expanding it through that. So now the neo-communists are fighting identity politics, and it's just crazy. And that's kind of where the DEI came in, and equity never worked. Splitting equity never worked. It just creates poverty and an elite class of people who are authoritarian. And when you start talking like that, there's nothing that comes out of it except for blood and death.
So tell me what you think of this. This is a take on it. So I thought diversity. that would be, the thing that this whole country is built on, isn't it? Since its inception. I mean, we take in everybody. Isn't that how this works?
Yeah,
I mean,
we're diverse.
We're diverse. I think we're probably the most diverse country in the world. So I don't know why we're getting schooled on it now. It's been
Go to China.
Right.
How many people out there go to most countries in Africa?
I mean,
South America.
You drive down the street. There's a restaurant. Italian, Greek, Chinese, Asian restaurants everywhere. We have in school. There's like 110 languages in some of the schools that they're teaching. That seems pretty diverse to me. Kids do have the opportunity to go to school choice. They have that, but we've had for many years strict laws to prevent from discrimination in any way. Hollywood, they have all the mixes and classes and all the different movies. Now, I guess where I'm going here is that when they say diversity, do they really mean perversion? And what I mean by that is they say, like the men who dress like something that is a poorer representation of women and degrades women, actually the drag queens, and they read these sexually laced stories to children. That is the whole diversity thing, isn't that what they're talking about? They're trying to say, oh, you got to bring your kid here and let them hear this, and which seems insane to me because, I mean, we have laws on the books to protect our kids, and if you read those laws, you'll see that it's exactly what they wrote in these laws is exactly what's going on.
Well,
they're hurting the kids,
Yeah.
and it's the wording is right there, and yet now they're trying to make it normalized. That's my take on diversity. You want to go right into equity, and then you can, or do you want to say
sure.
something?
Go ahead. I'll do it any way you want.
So,
I got a rant for every one of these. So.
all right, good. So that was we have so equity. Okay. So equity, aren't we putting all of our first graders in first grade? Aren't we starting people out in the same place? No, as far as what they're getting into, they're trying to get into the rich can't be rich, and we're going to take rich and give that money to the poor and whatnot. But that's not how you build an economy. You have to have people that are working.
Well, they want equity in outcomes.
Yeah.
They don't want equity in effort.
No, not an effort. Right. But see, the way they do it, you can't get it done. You can never get this to happen because you can't, like what they're doing now, they're giving all this money and items to the people that come over the border, right? Why would you want to come here and get a job? You can just get everything for free. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at the places that they've filled, the hotels and whatnot, they're dumps now. The people that have taken them over, they're dumps. They've ruined it. And that's because whenever you give anybody anything for free, they wreck it. They don't have no respect for it at all. So the equity thing, okay.
Most expensive money is free money.
Yeah. I think the equity thing, my thinking is that what they really mean is socialism. They want us to all be dependent on the government. Government will dish out our food, clothing, tell us what to do each day. That's how we're going to be equal.
Equity and outcomes, just like I was talking about in Russia and
Yep.
the Ukraine back in the 1900s, early 1900s.
You just can't, you can't expect to not really, it's not equity. It's insanity is what it is because it doesn't work. You're chasing your tail. People have to get up, learn a skill, and work hard every day and contribute to the system, which is their, I guess, inclusion. I mean, who doesn't want to be included, right? I mean, if we're talking about inclusion, what do you do when you're in school and we're all picking for teams to play outside in the sports? How do you get everybody on the first pick? Otherwise, somebody's feelings are going to get hurt. Now they're not included.
Well, the inclusion part, it's funny. You see a lot of so we thought we got all this taken care of back in the 50s, 60s, the Civil Rights Act, separatism, separate isn't equal.
Right.
But now you see a move, a push. It's kind of a sneaky way to do it. They say, oh, well, we're going to give you a safe space. They're creating a segregation
Right.
based on, instead of saying, we're not going to give you this, we're going to give it to you separately. So you're getting something separate. Safe space. You got it. So they're, and, you know, I don't want to make this a political argument, you know, Republican, Democrat, but Democrat Party was against the emancipation of slaves. They fought a war to keep slavery.
Wait,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Nikki Haley didn't know that.
Wow.
Just saying.
Well,
She didn't seem to
should have
know.
known since she lived in that state her whole life. I lived there for a short period of time. I knew about it.
They asked her. She didn't know.
Yeah. So, and then back in the 20s, Democrat Congress, although Teddy Roosevelt fought this, or Eleanor Roosevelt fought against segregation in the military, congressional Democrats fought to integrate military into combat units. That was a Democrat argument against the Civil Rights Act, Jim Crow laws, Democrat states, the black codes back in South Carolina in the 50s, 60s. That was all Democrat pushed. The fight against the civil rights, Democrat pushed. Now they're saying, oh, well, segregation's gone. Again, the fight against busing, that was another thing, too. That was fought against for Democrats. But the thing is that they want the segregation.
Yeah.
And now they're trying, oh, well, we're going to give you safe spaces. We're going to give you this. Oh, we're going to make your schools better in the poorer neighborhoods. And, you know, and you know, our president, you know, saying, when he said, I still can't believe a man said this out loud, but when he said, oh, well, black kids are as smart as, what did he say?
Yeah, as smart as white kids.
Yeah, he said, what did
Just
he
as
say?
much opportunity as white kids
Yeah,
or something?
he said, poor kids can be as smart as white kids.
Yeah.
Poor kids can be as smart as white kids.
Right.
He didn't say black kids, but it's like, so he thinks that everybody is, you know, he's using his own stereotypes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, I mean,
Right.
he hung around with segregationalists.
Oh, yeah, he did.
And stuff.
He
So,
definitely
I mean,
did.
he was a segregationalist, but, you know, didn't want his kids going to school in urban jungles.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
right.
So,
I kind of think that we have the DEI thing. It's already been happening. If you're a parent, if you have children, if you're a grandparent, you know, it's up to you. Teach your kids how to be polite, have manners, teach them respect for themselves, for others, for animals, for the planet. Teach them how to talk. Teach them that issues can be talked out. Teach your kids how to be healthy, how to work, how to help out. To be compassionate and passionate, to set goals, and then to build the pathways to get to those goals. It's always starts at the home, and it has to go that way, because if you put it out to the government, it's a huge fail. Teach them how to keep their room clean.
clean your room, Jack.
Yeah, Jack, we're gonna get to you after. How to help around the house, Jack. Actually, Jack, yeah, do you help around the house?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Teach them about spending and saving money.
That's important.
That's a huge thing. You know, being a caregiver to kids is hard work. It's way harder than any regular job. When you got to take care of another person, child or elderly or somebody that is a handicap and can't take care of themselves, it's a difficult job. But I think what I've seen in a previous occupation I had here in town was that parents want to be their kid's buddy. Okay, you can be their buddy when they're older. Okay, right now you got to be their parent when they're little kids. You know, and you do have to be the bad person, because that's how it works. You know, and they will get hurt feelings because you said no.
Be the good guy when you're grandpa.
Yeah, right, exactly. But that's how it works, you know. and teach the kids about the family history of your family history. I wish I knew more about mine. You know what your parents taught you, but then once your parents are gone, you really wish you had asked more questions, because they knew so much, and you don't realize what your parents know until you get a little older. You start to see how things really work, but as a parent or a grandparent, you got to be the strong one. You got to pay attention what they're doing, the way they're dressing. Sometimes you got to go through their backpacks, their rooms. You got to find out what's going on. You need to catch these issues early. Keep them busy all the time. If you can keep these kids busy doing positive things,
Take them to church.
take them to church.
Take them to church. Make them go to church.
Right. You can. It's a lot harder for the kids to get in trouble and get down the wrong pathway. And teach them how to defend themselves, and teach them how to take a punch. Who said it best? The boxer.
A plan's a plan until you get punched in the face.
Was that Mike Tyson?
You know what? It wasn't Mike Tyson.
It wasn't?
Nope. Because I actually heard this a couple of weeks back on Joe Rogan, and they were talking like Mike Tyson was telling the story when he first heard that. He goes, and that's true.
But hey, who would know better, right?
Yeah.
He's delivered many and taken many. But teach your kids how to pray, whatever your religion. Prayer is hope. Hope is positive. It's healthy. Prayer is security. And it's hard being a parent, hard being a caregiver. It's not an easy job, but it's something you have to do. It's 24/7. Yeah, you're gonna get woke up at 2 a.m. You gotta go get the kids wherever they are, and then you gotta deal with whatever maybe that issue is. But I used to see in my other career where the parents be the buddy and let the kids go, and then later you'd get to watch the movie all over again, and the kid would get hurt or killed. The kid would get into drugs, and forget about going to getting into a college or getting into a good trade. Forget it. The kid's messed. And with the fentanyl today, the fentanyl has been sent here by China to kill off generations of kids, and they're doing
a good job.
Yeah, it's are we at 100,000 people a year? Is that the number? Last number I heard.
So last year was 109,000. The official numbers, but if you listen to some people, they're saying that it could be up to like 330,000 deaths.
Yeah.
Or significant like brain injury. Type of incidents. And it's just because you overdose. You can overdose and not die, but you can get brain damage.
It rewires the brain.
Yeah. And if you look at it, Hogan Regional Center right over here in Danvers, last year opened up a ward for brain injuries, and it's not just car accidents and things like that, but a lot of it is opiate overdose. A lot of the funding comes from opiate grants from the federal government because of the overdoses.
Right.
It's an overdose issue more than acquired brain injury is a bigger issue when it comes to overdoses than car accidents or injury or stroke or something.
Your kid only has to take it once, or a person just take it once, and they're not getting it from a pharmacist. Mm-hmm. They're getting it from whatever. Somebody made it in the back of a car or somebody's basement or whatever. And so who knows what the mix is? Who knows what they put in? And the kid could be screwed for life. And so that's why you have to be out there. You have to be the advocate for the kids, because they're going to be spoon feeding you applesauce when you can't feed yourself. So you want to make sure they're in good shape.
And black market pills, like if you're buying, let's say you have a disease or something and you need to buy medications, they say like if you buy it on black market, 80% of that has fentanyl or rat poison or something else in it.
Yeah.
So 80% have fentanyl in it.
So when
black market medications.
When the drug, it's never ended. It's been ongoing. But when it really started to amp up, and we were seeing a lot of the OxyContin, that whole era where we went through that, and then we started getting into these the stronger drugs, especially like the fentanyls and whatnot. It occurred to me that at first, you have to ask yourself, why would the drug dealer, and then the drug dealer behind him, and the bigger one, and the bigger one, and the bigger one, why are they selling drugs that kill people? It just feels like, why are they trying to kill off their customer? Because, that makes no sense, right? Except, no, they are.
They're not trying to kill off their customer. They're trying to kill off the enemy of their supplier. So the United States is the enemy of China.
Right.
China's doing it.
Exactly.
Not to
Right.
kill a customer.
Right.
They're trying to
Yep.
kill their enemy.
They get it into Mexico, the cartels process it, and then up the highways it comes to our areas, and it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So
I actually, I just changed out I carry Narcan.
yeah.
In my wife's car, my car as well. My wife's a nurse. So she, we both carry Narcan in our vehicles just in case we run across somebody that's overdosing and or if we get contaminated. Because basically if I had let's say this, I had fentanyl on my hand and I put it down here and I put this down and then Mike grabs his phone. He's touching the fentanyl. Fentanyl's absorbed through the hand. So if anything's touched fentanyl and you touch that,
Yeah.
you can overdose on it. So me and my wife, we just carry it, just precautionary things. But I always did, just so everybody knows, I have experience dealing with working on the reduction of overdoses and with opiates. And longer story, but it's fascinating stuff that I found out. And some of the laws that you see today are direct causal reactions from the research that we did. And you guys here in Davis has a state senator and a state rep who voted to reduce the incarceration period for a drug dealer that's dealing fentanyl and heroin from 20 years down to 10 years. So it's a lesser crime, and that's the max, 10 years.
Hey, why are they closing down MCI Concord? That's our max prison, right?
I have an opinion on that. I'm not sure if I'm accurate on it yet. I
Well-
had put some feelers out there to somebody just to find out. I think it's going to be housing for illegal immigrants.
Okay, so where are our inmates going?
I think that they are in a process of decriminalizing a lot
They
of
are.
stuff.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So you're going to find that it's going to be very difficult for a criminal. Well, let me just
To get
rephrase
locked
that.
up.
It's going to be very difficult they're going to see a DEI in criminology. So when I was working at Hogan Regional, can I go into this?
Yes.
All right. So I can tell you something that I noticed 4 years ago. So maybe 5 years ago now, I was working at Hogan Regional, and I
Although it's not an I, me show, but
yeah.
Well, go ahead.
So so when I was there, I have I look at grants and read grants. I used to be a grant writer, and that's where I did the where I did the opiate overdose reduction. It was through grants. So I was looking through grants.
Was
and
it Essex County Sheriff's Department?
No, I was a state employee up at KPN, so Gloucester, Rockport, Magnolia, Manchester by the Sea, stuff like that. I was in that area
And
dealing with them.
And that was that under the AG's office?
No, it was under state.
Okay.
So it was just it was an executive branch grant.
Okay.
So I was under state. There was 13 communities: Lowell, Peabody, Chelsea, and 13 states throughout the community. So I look at grants, and about 4 or 5 years ago, when I was at Hogan, I was going through grants, and I noticed a grant that was looking for a facility like Hogan, but also looking for a juvenile detention center and an adult detention center. So Essex County Sheriff's Department, DYS, Hogan Regional. We covered mental illness at Hogan Regional. You had people in detention as juveniles and the adult detention center. So they wanted those three groups to work together. But if you read out the grant, and the devil's in the details, what they were looking to do, my understanding of what I read in the grant, is they wanted you to do research to identify that the adults had some type of developmental disability, so that they're some type of impairment at an earlier age, so that they can divert them out of
Yeah.
prisons.
Yeah. So you're supposed to identify some issue from their childhood.
Not that just them. They wanted you to create another category
right.
of people. Oh, well, Your Honor, this person had trouble reading. That's a disability, or whatever it was. But they were specifically looking
Another column of problems that they could use to
divert people out of, so they'd say that they were developmental.
Yeah.
So they wanted to create, even retroactively, create people's criminal activity to be a developmental disability, a developmental or intellectual disability, so that they can divert them into a place like Hogan rather than Middleton House of Corrections.
Right.
So it was very sneaky. And when I was reading, I was like, man, they're going to stop pulling the jails.
Hold on. You're saying the government did
Federal
something.
government from the DOJ. It was the DOJ.
But you just used the word sneaky.
It was sneaky.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
It was very.
No,
it
go
was,
on. Go
It was
on.
very sneaky.
All
So,
right.
and it was 4 years, $500,000 a year grant. It was a nice grant. It was a beautiful grant. Nice. Well,
It was all research?
A lot of money. Well, basically they want you to work together with the sheriff's department, the juvenile detention center, and then like a facility like Hogan. So you wanted all these 3 different entities to work together, so that they can say, oh, well, this kid's in jail, but he has a disability, so we're not going to put him into a prison or into a jail, adult jail. He's going to be now moved to a non-secure facility like Hogan.
Right.
And it's they just wanted, it was a diversionary program
Yeah.
or a reclassification, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Reclassifying people from being a criminal.
Well, I used to go to calls for whatever the situation was, you'd go to a house in a neighborhood that looked like all the rest of the houses in the neighborhood, and then you'd find out it was a group home, and then that's where you found out that there were criminals there that had, a different designation, and you'd usually find that out because you'd be wrestling with them on the floor because they, attacked you after you get in there. So, yeah, it's another fail. Another fail. People have, unfortunately, if you commit crimes and you hurt others and steal people's property, you probably should go to jail. I'm not saying lock everybody up because that's just not the case, but, once you're out in society, you need to fit into society. Society doesn't need to fit for you, but that's how they're making it now. They're spinning it all the way around, and all it does is get, innocent people hurt. You run down the store to grab something, and before you know it.
At the same time that they're declassifying people out of prisons, they're taking away police authority.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're stripping police of their authority.
Absolutely. Well, they've been defunding the police for how long?
Yeah.
And they do it the backdoor way, The whole thing now, police officers have to have a license to be a police officer.
Yeah, they have certification.
Yeah, certification. And
Yeah.
so
they have to get recertified every 2 or 4 years. I forget what it was.
I think it's 2. But
Might be 2.
You fail the test, right? You can be out your job.
Yeah, you got like 16 months to get it. But they also go in front of a review board.
Right.
So, for like, if it's a complaint, it's a complaint. And if you read the letter of that law, one of the criteria that they look at to find out if you're guilty of something is the skin color of the person that's making the complaint and the skin color of the officer.
Yeah.
So skin color is actually one of the things that they look at, regardless of what the complaint says. If you weren't even there, you didn't say anything, white, black, a white officer against a black guy, and that is a criteria. It looks at the skin color. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I can't even believe that.
Not about the event itself.
I can't even believe the unions allow it. I can't even believe the union. And I'm not a super big union guy. I like unions. I think they have their spot in some spots. How every police union doesn't go after every single person, committee person that did that and go after them on election and have them primaried and then general election
But
against them.
you know why? I mean, police unions only have so much money, which comes from the police officers, and so there's just not a lot of money to go fighting everybody. You know, they have just a.
They only have to fight the fights in their area.
Oh, I understand, but
So they don't have to go global.
Yeah.
They can just say, okay, well, Danvers, Peabody, Beverly will take care of their own cities.
Yeah.
And
If they-
primary everybody in those areas.
yeah, if they banded together, they would be better. Probably better chance of making it through, something like that. All right, let's talk about schools. You ready?
School.
I want to know, what is going on with these book banning sons of bees that don't allow porno books in schools or the kids section at the libraries. Why can't the little kids read all the adult stuff? What's wrong with that? I mean, others say it's wonderful.
I thought they do already.
What is the big push with sex in kids? Do you know? I mean, let's put it this way: the public seemed to be they were not happy when they found out about Jeff Epstein in his little kiddie porno island. All right, where he abused him and all his pals abused all these kids. Okay, in fact, I think most people were happy when he was found dead. Now, and we're still awaiting that list, by the way. We haven't got the list of who was on the list. And nor have we got the list of the people that were in Boston and caught up in that prostitution ring, too. Supposedly some big names there. But, who knows? We're going to hear about that, right?
Maybe that's why Sally Kern and Joan Lovely want to decriminalize prostitution.
Probably.
So
right?
their buddies don't get in trouble.
Well, they said there was supposed to be some pretty good names on this thing. So my question is, what is right? What is wrong? You can't have it both ways here. You can't, and they're doing it.
I think the force of sexuality in schools, the push for that, is, and I want to go back to the bigger picture, is I believe that there's an effort to break up the family.
There's been one for 100 years.
And that is, again, go back to Lenin, Marx,
exactly.
those guys that, get rid of the church, get rid of the family.
Yep.
Then we'll get their minds.
Yep.
So you break down the family, back in, Soviet Union, back in Russia, you had kids my dad did this, kids were, ratting out their parents.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what they want to do, is break up the bond between parents and children,
absolutely.
and children and children.
Because then there's no more unity there, and now you own them.
You own them.
You get the parents that are afraid, right? And you get the kids that are in charge, and the kids don't know what they're doing because they're kids. But now you've broken the whole family up, and so you own everybody.
Yep.
And we've seen 1,000 times, how that works.
The only way is to break up that it's to me it's a significant, because no father wants their third grade daughter to see penises in school or anywhere. In fact, anywhere. They don't want their their 10-year-old daughter, 8-year-old daughter.
Well, their little boy. Why does their little boy need to read about how to perform some of these acts? They're little kids.
Yeah.
We know what they're thinking about? They're thinking about the next time they eat. They're thinking about playing a game. You know what I mean? They're not. This isn't.
You wonder why kids are so confused now, and they all think half the what do they say? 60% of Gen Z, which is I think 24 and under, think that they have some type of queer identity. They're either opposite sex, no sex, or they're what are they, unisex or whatever they're called. So there's a real, but they're confused because they don't have that foundation. The foundation was never set.
Right, and that's where it comes back to parents. You got to be the parent. You got to be strong, and leads us into our next subject here. But if you're a parent, all right, would you let your kid who's 12 take your car out and just drive around? No.
I want to let my kid, 12 years old, have a cell phone.
Would you let your 15-year-old kid go shoot a gun down at the park? I mean, would you let your kid just sit at the kitchen table and take drugs? I mean, these are all dangerous things, right?
The gun down at the park, when I was in South Carolina,
Okay.
I actually saw like 12-year-olds coming out of the woods. They all had shotguns and stuff. They're like, "Hey, how you doing, sir?" So
Okay, well,
I guess it depends on where you are.
Yeah, it's a location thing, but
Yeah.
around here that wouldn't be that great. So what I'm getting at is that kids are kids; they can't make decisions, but yet kids start getting this idea planted in their head when they're young, and it's happening right now, and it's happening right here, that maybe they're not little boys, maybe they're not little girls, and so it's being pushed by schools and particular teachers that are doing it. It's being pushed by therapists that are in that same loop, and obviously there's other elements going on here too. There's lots of money that comes down the trail here from that's put in the schools, and then they have to follow the mandate.
Mm-hmm.
They're stuck. Like the good teachers are stuck reading this garbage to our kids, which is just confusing our kids. And again, this is all about breaking down the family. But one of the particulars is where they have the kid confused, and now the kid wants to start taking the medications to offset their puberty, to or hold it back,
Well, if they go to a doctor, okay, so I'm going to look at this. So at the school level, any teacher that ever told my kid they need to go get medication, so that a hormone blocker, I would sue them. Any teacher that showed pornography to my student, my child,
Right.
I would have them arrested, and I would sue them. So it's up to the parents. Stand strong for your child.
Yep.
Go to court. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's in the school and it's been voted on. If there is a crime against your children and it's committed by a teacher, that teacher and that school is responsible. Just like a police officer getting a bad order. Go beat that guy with your billy club.
Yeah. Right.
You can't. It's against the rule. It's against the law.
Right.
Providing a child with sexual pornography is against the law.
It's absolutely against the law.
And a police chief should take action against that.
Absolutely.
The school committee, the
Yep.
town committee, town administrator should shut it down. Say, listen, we can't allow this. We're going to get sued. We're going to go to jail. And anybody that's involved with voting on that and saying yes, I understand in a vote that the selectmen or the city school committee can't get sued, but they can go to jail.
Yeah. Well, aren't they
They
all?
can be criminally charged for
Absolutely.
their actions.
Right.
They might not be able to get sued because of liability limitations. That they stripped from police officers. They stripped, immunity from police officers, but all the politicians still have theirs. All the judges, they still have their immunity. But if you give a child sexual pornography, that is a crime. It's a crime.
Right.
I can't send pornography to any child. If I shot it over my cell phone,
Yeah.
I'd be in trouble.
Right. Right.
I'd be in trouble.
In parents, you have to stick together. You got to get groups
And I
where
don't
you
carry a cell phone, just so everybody.
where you can stick together, with other like-minded people. Because if your kid ended up in the hospital, and the doctor said, "Well, we're going to have to chop the kid's leg off," and the kid is in there for the flu, would you go along with the doctor? And yet, the doctors that are involved in this, the therapists, the teachers that are involved in this will say, "Oh no, your kid wants to be the opposite sex," and so they want the hormone blockers. And then soon after, or however long, they're going to want to get the operation to it's a life-changing operation. They're never going to be the same. They're going to be a customer for Big Pharma and Big Medicine for the rest of their life. You take a perfectly healthy person and destroy them.
You know what? In that case, my kid wants to smoke. Let him smoke. My kid wants a tattoo. Give him the tattoo. Why not?
Some things, I guess you pick your battles, right? But you honestly, a kid comes to you,
You don't pick your battles with your kids.
no, right.
Every fight is worth fighting.
Absolutely. I think that if your kid comes to you, and it's a tough thing if it happens. If your kid comes to you and they say that they want to be called, Phil, and their name was whatever Phyllis before, and now they think that they might be the opposite of what they were born, you need to get counseling, good counseling, and the whole family has to participate, because the whole family is going to be disrupted by the events that are going to occur, that are occurring to many right now, and it's happening here. This is not something that's just happening out in Chicago.
It's in Danvers.
It's right here.
In Danvers.
People are suffering with this right now, and it's not an easy situation, and people want to be quiet about it, and then it's a painful situation. Mental illness is not a thing that people want to talk about. It's just as serious as having a bad heart or bad lungs. You got to deal with it, and don't be afraid. Just save your kids. Save your kid.
There's new studies coming out now. There's a study that says that if you do hormone or that sex change assignment therapy, either hormones or surgical, after it's done, you are 19 times, not 19%, 19 times more likely to commit suicide than somebody who had gender dysphoria and didn't get the surgery.
Exactly.
So by getting the surgery, doing the hormone therapies, you're more likely to commit suicide. So the argument that, these kids are killing themselves.
No, that's crap. That's crap.
It might be true, but it's even more true once the surgeries and therapies are
Absolutely. Once you've disfigured this poor kid at such a young age, and then they start to grow up a little bit. I'm still growing up. The thing is, you can't tell a 15-year-old kid, okay, we're going along with this, and it's okay. It's not okay. The kid's growing up. Let the kid get to. I think the kid, you should not allow these operations till the kid may be 26 when the insurance runs out here.
You have a bunch of kids running around catastrophes. You got these young men who are getting these sex therapies done, and the drugs that they give for the hormone therapy is the same drugs that they give sex predators to chemically castrate. It's the same exact drug and the same dose. So it is a permanent thing.
We're burning time here. We're
Sorry.
burning time.
Oh,
No,
hey,
we're
3
okay,
minutes.
but listen, that was a fast hour. But I want to just say, along with that, the people that push this stuff, aren't they actually Jeffrey Epstein's? I think so. I think they're pushing perversion. And why do we keep voting for the same people who stand there and tell you you're wrong with your own eyes and your own ears? Mm-hmm. No, it's okay to have drag queens reading stories to little kids. People right here in town, there are people that are going, no, it's okay. We're talking about unity. Unity? Go be a coach for baseball.
Yeah.
That's unity. Teach the kids how to learn some rules and play a sport and be energetic.
Perverting and confusing a young mind
Yeah.
is not a positive thing.
No.
There's no good that can come out of it.
Nothing.
None. Zero
Nothing.
good.
This is
if it's something that's made up later and decided in a later part of their life, and even now, the adults who go through the same type of therapies are coming up with the same. They're less suicidal, but they are equally regretful.
They're very unhappy because they said that they worked it out. Their brain caught up with their body, and they worked it out, and they wish they hadn't done this terrible operations and whatnot. And like I said, they're permanent customers for Big Pharma, Big Medicine, because they have to keep all this medicine up, or because they've taken all the natural parts off of them.
Yeah. Jordan Peterson did a great interview with a young woman who went through double mastectomy and hormone treatments.
Yeah.
And her fight now is to stop others to doing this and protecting them.
Yeah.
So.
And it's wrong, and you can't do this stuff. This is wrong to kids. You're ruining people's lives, and as usual, it's all about money. All right, we're losing. We're down to seconds here.
It's all money.
It's all money, and it's a crime. We're wrapping it up. Our
Jats matters.
Jack says wrap it up. So listen, thank you for watching our show. We're hoping that we can have a lot of interesting topics, and national relates to local, and all politics is local. Don't vote the people in that want to hurt your family and your kids and take your rights away. Vote people in that have a spine and a backbone. They'll fight for you. Because there's more people that care about Danvers and the country and the world than there are that are running it into the ground right now. We're the popular side. So
We are.
yeah. Thank you for listening. God bless.
God
We'll see
bless
you
you.
again.
Have a good one, Danvers.
Thank you very much.
And that's the show. The man who thinks he knows the most as the host, of course, Michael Bean. The guy that tries to make you laugh, the co-host, Damien Anketel. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.